Mark Anthony here for Sigma TV. I have the honor to sit here with Earle G, CEO of Axes.ai. Earle, how are you?
Outstanding. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. The Sigma event is pumping, and how is it for you?
Overwhelming. I don't think anybody in the industry thought that so many people would fly from all over the world to be here. This is by far the most impressive event I've seen in a while.
Thank you very much. That's music to my ears, and especially coming from a figure like yourself, Earle. Earle, I would like to dive into Axes.ai, or more than that. I'd like to get your opinion on a couple of things that I thought would be interesting for this interview. Let's start with land and online casinos. Should they actually merge?
The fax, the photocopier, the pager, technology always merges. It's just the way things evolve. So will land-based sports betting and online merge? They'll have to, because they have the same single denominating factor. It's the player. So of course online, it's a tech play. The technology in online is, I don't want to exaggerate, let's just say 1 million years ahead of the land-based gaming. So the land-based gaming from a technology point of view does not have a choice but to catch up to the online. Once you have the same player, then it becomes a CRM play. The player is in the casino having fun, goes home. They have to be within the same brand, because the cost of bringing a player into a new brand or bringing them back, it's atrocious. So for technology drives efficiency. And right now it's inefficient to have two micro industries doing the same thing. If it were any other industry in the world, they would have already merged. But they will, soon.
Brilliant. Powerful words, Earle. But tell me another thing, and this is your direct ballpark for sure. Is AI going to become big in this industry?
AI, so let's take a different approach. Every single day, there are more and more data points to cover, interpret, and understand. So every day since COVID started the real digital drive. Up until COVID, you could get away with analog, you could get away with paper, but everybody had to go home, everybody had to go online, everybody had to use virtual documents. All of a sudden, we've got an exponential amount of information being produced, whereas a human can only take so many hours in a day to read, understand, to use that foundation to make a decision, if that makes sense. So without AI, how are humans going to be able to consume all the information? And how are they going to be able to take intelligent decisions if there's not an intelligent agent pre-consuming to get you to a point where you can take a good decision? That no go beyond time is coming very soon, where without AI, you won't be able to compete.
Indeed. Well, why is the concept of real-time information then so important in this industry?
Well, that's the problem. It's not. So if you go in every other industry, whether it's the medical industry, you get a blood test right now. As you walk out, your phone rings and you have all of your results. We are in a real-time world, and not only we're in a real-time world, we're in a world where everything is connected to everything. Once you have real time, once you have connectivity, people expect instant gratification. They expect instant recognition. The online industry is doing quite well in that realm. The land-based industry is in a lot of trouble, and they're accumulating a technology debt that, in my opinion, will force the merge between the online and, I call the land-based the offline industry. Because the technology in the online industry, the cloud industry, the big data industry, that's what fuels AI. That's what fuels cashless. So when you look at the land-based industry, they don't have the tech base to evolve right now. And it's very worrisome. And that's where I spend literally long nights trying to teach, educate, help, and awake people that they have to move faster towards cloud, big data, cashless, because the consumers, the player that's playing a slot machine in a casino is the same player that's holding Facebook, Starbucks, and about 15 other apps that they're being treated like a real-time connected instant gratification human. And the land-based industry is not doing that. It's very worrisome, but as you said on the outset, there's something coming because the industry will auto-correct itself. We're in a very intelligent industry. It will auto-correct.
Brilliant. Do you see the progress of cashless in land-based in the land-based community, in the land-based industry, ever happening?
It doesn't have a choice. The player, and let's not, we always try to go to the exception to explain the rule, which is always wrong. You have to look at the volume of mass gaming. I'm going to use that term, even though North America doesn't really use that word. In land-based casinos, the player is holding a phone where they're tapping Facebook. They're tapping for gas. They're tapping for groceries. They're tapping for everything except gaming. So if we don't want to lose those players to other consumer activities, we have to adopt cashless. It's just right now, the only thing that I could explain cashless with in the land-based industry is confusion. Because we're mixing up two basic concepts, which is open loop and closed loop. Open loop is very simple to understand. All it is money transportation from the banking sector into a wallet. But you cannot use that technology efficiently, quickly, at no cost inside of a casino. You need to have what's called closed loop cashless. And the other thing that I'm worried about in the land base is who owns the data and who owns the player. I don't know if anybody remembers the big fight in the late 1990s, early 2000s in the online gaming industry, but between the online casinos and the affiliates, that's called closed loop and open loop. Who won? The affiliates. So we've already, if we look back at history, we can see the mistakes that were made in the cashless world. We can't make those in the land-based industry because the casino has to own the float, the money. It has to own the player for loyalty, reward, and engagement. And it has to own the data in real time. So there's a confusion right now that has to be addressed rapidly before it's too late in the land-based industry.
I have one more question for you, Earle. There's so many expos happening around the world at the moment. All to my eyes could be very interesting for most. However, for some reason, Earle, you've decided to engage with the Sigma event. Could you guide me as to why you thought this was beneficial for Axes.ai?
Simple. I love to speak in analogies. Apple, Steve Jobs. Second World War, General Patton. I could go on always doing an equation between an event and an inspirational leader. So like I said, I'm not getting paid for what I'm going to say, but it's my rock solid opinion.
I promise this.
We love rallying around inspirational leaders. You have the leaders that inspire you. I have the leaders that inspire me. Sigma is driven by an inspiring leader. And when I was asked, are you going to come to Sigma in the Philippines? Oh, God, I haven't been to Asia since before COVID. Oh, I have to go. Sigma is driven by a passion and a heart that is clearly expressed on the floor, because I don't think anybody would have ever believed that this amount of people would have came to this show. I hear it a lot on the floor, but when you know Iman, it kind of makes sense.
Earle, It has been really music to my ears. I feel confident to say actually that with everything I've heard so far, we'll be sitting over here this time next year, celebrating the success that Axes.ai has managed to gain out of this expo, and also talking about maybe some future prospects, that are going to happen in 2024. However, that being said, I look forward to meeting you in all our other expos. You are more than welcome to come by. Of course, you have added great value to our show, and we are honored to have you over here. Thank you very much for your insight.